Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell, so you never miss an incredible story like this. One asterisk Elena had once been at the top of her game. Her name was known in the business world for her brilliance in corporate strategy, the kind of strategist who could turn failing companies into multi-million-dollar success stories. The penthouse she had built with her sweat and determination wasn't just a home. It was a testament to everything she had accomplished. But now, in this moment, it felt like everything she had worked for was about to be taken from her in a cold, calculated move. It started on an ordinary morning. Elena was in her bright kitchen, sorting through her work, her phone buzzing with a message. As she read it, she barely had time to react when Thomas walked in, the man who she had once called her partner, her confidant, and her love. He was holding a cup of coffee, his eyes blank, the weight of the moment settling on both of them. "Elena, we need to talk. I've been thinking about the house." Her stomach churned. "What do you mean?" "I think it's best if you move into the guest room for now. Mia needs stability, and the baby." His voice trailed off, but before she could process his words, Mia appeared in the doorway, her hand resting on her swollen belly. She was glowing with an unsettling air of entitlement, as if her pregnancy somehow made everything she said and did justified. "Actually, Elena," Mia said, her voice sweet but cutting, "we'd really appreciate it if you could be out by the weekend. We need to start preparing the nursery." Elena stood frozen, trying to understand what was happening. Mia wasn't just speaking out of turn. She was taking over her life, her home, the penthouse, the very place she had meticulously curated with her. Earnings was being claimed by Mia as if Elena's role there was no longer needed. The pain of it, the audacity, cut deep. Her mind raced. This can't be real. The home she had built with years of hard work, late nights, and sacrifices for Thomas's career was now the backdrop for this betrayal. Her heart pounded in her chest. "I've worked for everything we have, Thomas," Elena said, her voice steady, though inside, her chest ached with the weight of the situation. "This is my home. You can't just make me disappear." Thomas, unfazed, glanced at her over his coffee mug. "We're married, Elena. Everything is ours. But Mia and her baby need more space. It's just temporary. The guest room will be fine for you." Elena was stunned. Temporary. Her world had just been reduced to an afterthought. Mia's smile, her hand resting protectively over her belly, added salt to the wound. "Don't worry," Mia chimed in with that same calm tone. "We'll set it all up. I'm sure you'll be comfortable. You barely use this place anyway." Barely use this place. The very home she had built with her hands, her mind, and her success was now being dismissed as an inconvenient backdrop to Mia's new life. Elena felt a hollow emptiness wash over her. She had been betrayed by the man who promised to cherish her, and the woman who had once been family. Later that night, as the weight of the day settled in, Elena found herself in the family office. Her fingers shook, but her resolve never faltered. She sat down at the computer, knowing exactly what she needed to do. She opened Thomas's email inbox and her eyes widened when she saw the folder labeled Project Family. Elena clicked it open, and what she found inside nearly made her stomach turn. 7 months of planning. 7 months of secret conversations between Thomas and Mia, plotting her eviction from the very life she had worked so hard to build. They had calculated every step, including the timing of this move, waiting until her biggest contract closed to ensure she wouldn't resist. And there it was in black and white. Thomas had been plotting with Mia, against her, all along. The sense of betrayal was suffocating. But then, as the documents unfolded before her, something inside Elena shifted. They wanted her gone. They wanted to push her aside like some inconvenient relic. Elena had built her empire with the precision of a master strategist, and now it was time to turn the tables. If they wanted to play games with her life, they needed to understand the rules. Eleanor's mind worked like clockwork. She reached for her phone and called Marcus Thornfield, the CEO of a global consulting firm who had been courting her for months. He had offered her a life-changing opportunity to work in Singapore, to take the position of Chief Strategy Officer for their Asian expansion. The offer had been on the table for some time, but Elena had turned it down, not wanting to leave behind everything she had worked so hard for in New York. But now, it felt like the only escape from the life Thomas and Mia were building for themselves in her home. "I'll take it," Elena said firmly, her decision final in the following days. Elena worked with her lawyer to make sure everything was in place. She gathered every receipt, every invoice, every bank statement, meticulously documenting everything she had earned and everything she had bought. Every piece of furniture, every item in the penthouse, every luxury item that had been purchased with her money was now accounted for. She had built this life with her own 2 hands, and no one, least of all Thomas and Mia, could take that from her. The day the movers arrived, Elena stood firm in her decision. She had orchestrated the entire thing. As furniture and belongings were carried out of her penthouse, Thomas and Mia were left standing, confused and panicked. They had never expected this. "What is this?" Thomas demanded, his voice shaking. "Where are you taking everything?" "I'm taking back what's mine," Elena replied, calm and collected. "Everything I paid for. Everything I earned. I'm not leaving this place with nothing." Mia's face twisted with frustration, but there was nothing she could do. The movers continued, not pausing for the dramatic scene unfolding before them. As Elena's belongings left the penthouse, she couldn't help but feel a sense of liberation. The life she had built was being taken from her, but she was reclaiming what was hers in the process. Elena had already made her exit plans. The next morning, she boarded a flight to Singapore, leaving behind the toxic relationships and the false life she had been living. In Singapore, she found peace. The apartment provided by Marcus's company exceeded her expectations, and she quickly settled into her new role at Thornfield International. The work was challenging, but more than that, it was fulfilling. She was no longer just a successful woman in a marriage that had suffocated her. She was an independent force, creating her own future. Weeks passed, and Elena adjusted to her new life. But the fallout from her departure rippled back to New York, reaching her ears through Sarah, her best friend, who had a network that stretched across the city's social circles. "You won't believe it," Sarah said one evening. "I saw Eleanor Thomas's mother at Whole Foods. She looked like she'd aged 10 years. Julian's living with his parents now, back in Connecticut." Elena smiled faintly. It was a strange kind of satisfaction to know that the man who had once tried to control her, who had planned her downfall, was now living with the consequences of his actions. And then came the message from Thomas. A long, rambling apology for everything that had happened, begging her to come back, trying to rewrite their history. But Elena was done with him. She forwarded the message to her lawyer. "Please add to harassment documentation." No response needed. Months passed and Elena's life continued to flourish in Singapore. Meanwhile, Thomas and Mia were left to pick up the pieces of their broken lives. Mia, with her pregnancy glow and new baby, was suddenly living in a cramped apartment, struggling to keep up appearances. Thomas had been forced to explain to his colleagues why he had suddenly lost his prestigious address. The firm had distanced itself from him, and his reputation built on the back of Elena's success had crumbled. Elena, on the other hand, had found a new rhythm. Her new office, her new home, the respect she now commanded from her colleagues, All of it was the result of the decisions she had made in the face of betrayal. One evening, Sarah called with another update. "You're never going to believe this. Gabriella's now working at Nordstrom. Can you imagine?" The woman who acted like working was beneath her, folding clothes in retail. Elena chuckled quietly. It was hard to feel sorry for Mia, who had once believed she could simply replace Elena. But now, reality was setting in. As Elena sat by her window, looking out over the sprawling city below, she felt a quiet satisfaction. She had walked away from everything, and in doing so, she had built something better. And then, her phone buzzed again. This time, it was a message from her mother. "Your grandmother would be proud. You didn't just leave a bad situation. You built something better." Eleanor's heart warmed and she looked out at the skyline. Her future was now entirely her own. And this was just the beginning.